Hey everybody, I'm Chris Watson and welcome to this edition of Overtime Sports presented by the American Dairy Association Northeast. Today, we talk officials, the people that make our sports happen. And it is no secret we're facing an officials shortage and have been for a number of years. We need men and women to become officials to help keep our student athletes involved in the sports that they love. If you're interested in learning more about becoming an official, there is a link in the description below this video. Today, we talk to a couple of officials about why they officiate, what they love about it, what are the rewards, and what it was like to work during the pandemic, or in the case of one, choosing to sit this season out.
I opted not to officiate this year, and my reason for that is at the time, I have elderly parents. My wife's mom is obviously in her 80s, and I have some other elderly relatives. I started looking at that, and I just kind of felt uncomfortable, not with the whole process, but just with the fact of what would happen to me or what I would need to do to keep them safe.
Initially, I had some concerns, like most officials do. But as it went along and the more I missed it, the less I had concerns, okay? I just wanted us to have a season. I
went and asked all of the boards that are within the New York State Girls Basketball Officials Group. So I heard from 15 out of 27 boards. And out of that, we have a total of 1,207 officials that work within those boards. And about 500 opted not to officiate. So I think the number was kind of telling.
What kind of impact did the 500 and change officials who chose to not work this basketball season, what kind of impact did that have on the season?
There were some boards where more than half or three-quarters of the officials did not participate. That required some of the schools to move their contests to scrimmages or to work with one official. It, as you well know, it managed to shuffle so many games that the assigners were working constantly to be able to try and fill those slots.
When it came to the wrestling season, being on the mat, being out there again, I'm sure felt tremendously rewarding and almost like the reward of everybody's hard work. But what was it like for you? What did it feel like? What was different? What were the kids like? What were the coaches like? What was it like?
That's an awesome question. First of all, we all were glad to be on that mat. Coaches were glad to be in the corners. The wrestlers were glad to wrestle. The young wrestlers wasn't as concerned, I think, about the potential hazards of this COVID as the adults were. So they wrestled like they would normally wrestle.
What was the overwhelming theme maybe of officiating this season?
Well, the overall theme, Chris, was that everybody wanted to do their best to make it work. We all knew the players wanted to play. We always remember that we're in this for the players. While we do this because we enjoy it and we want to give something back, we all realize that this is for the good of the boys and the girls that are playing high school ball, high school sports.
What's the football season going to look like for officials?
The complete this year is going to be truncated. It's going to be a short season, but the officials that officiate, we're just, and coaches and athletes, they're just glad to be there. We are all glad to be on that football field. Do they want to win? Of course, but I think just being on the field is just it's a success story in itself.
One of the problems that we've had with retaining officials, and I hate the controversy of this, but I will bring it up, is the sportsmanship. And that has been an ongoing thing, and it's just not through New York State, it's every state. The top reason why younger officials do not come back after 2 or 3 years is due to the lack of sportsmanship from sometimes the fans and sometimes the coaches. So it's difficult to get them past that. But we are working very hard to train those officials to let them know that as I said earlier, you're not going to be right in every call. It's a learning process.
You touched on it briefly earlier. You do it for the kids. Can you talk about the reward of being an official? And you've been doing it for a long time, so obviously there's a reason you keep coming back.
I know very well that it is for the kids. It is being on the floor to be able to officiate a contest that they want to play in. One of the things I learned very early in my career was that it doesn't matter if it's a 7th grade game or if it's a sectional final for 2 varsity ball clubs. Those players are all playing as hard as they can, doing the best that they can, and that requires us as officials to do the best that we can each and every night that we go on the floor.
It puts me right in the middle of what I'm passionate about, football and wrestling. So I truly enjoy doing it. Monetarily, it's not that important, but we really just enjoy doing it. And most of the people that do what we do, they do it for the love of the sport.
I absolutely enjoy officiating, Chris. I can't tell you that's not a driving factor. It's being able to give something back to the game. It's being able to be a part of something that I can be active in and enjoy.
And if you are interested in learning more about becoming an official, there is a link just below this video in the description section where you can learn more about becoming an official and help keep interscholastic sports going. For this edition of Overtime Sports, presented by the American Dairy Association Northeast, I'm Chris Watson. We'll see you next time.